If you are an Angular developer, this is the right time to jump into and start learning Signal. In Angular ecosystem, everyone is talking about this new reactivity, way of reactivity called signals. The purpose of this video is to give you a very basic introduction of signals in next 8 to 10 minutes, such that you know what everyone is talking about and you can start your learning of signals. So for the purpose of that, what I have done, I have created a project here in Angular 16, and in the project I have added two components, child 1 and child 2, and then I have added one service as well. We are going to use these three things for some implementation of Signal. Now in the app component, let's go ahead and create our first signal. So to create a signal, Angular has given you a function called signal. You call that function, you pass any value to that function, and Angular creates signal out of that. So let's say that if I want to create a signal called count, I'll say count equal to signal, and this signal is part of Angular core core package. And let's go to this signal, go to definition, and you see that it takes an initial value. It takes some options. We could cover that in later videos, and it returns you writable signal of the same type which you pass here in initial value. We would come to what is writable signal in a bit, but let's go here and pass some value. Here you can pass a value, let's say 99. You can pass number, you can pass string, you can pass an object, you can pass an array, you can pass primitive types, you can pass non-primitive types such that object, array, anything here. So here I am saying that, hey, it's 99, create a signal around a value 99, and I can go here and say that this is a writable signal, and we are expecting that t to be number here. Even if you don't pass type, Angular is able to refer that from the value which you pass here. So here we have created a signal called count, and that signal is carrying a numeric value of 99. That's it. You have created your first signal. Now this signal is a function. So to read that, you need to call it as a function. Let's say that I want to read this count in init. So I say console.log signal count, and then we can say this dot count, and then you need to call that as a function. Keep in mind that this signal function, this is a function, so to get the value out of that, you need to call that, and here I am calling. So signal has a getter function. To read value of signal, you need to call it as a function. So to create a signal, just use this function signal and pass any value you wish to pass. Now let's go ahead and run this. And here I can see signal count 99. I'm able to read that value. Now if I wish to read that value on the template, I can very much do that. Let's go to the template, and here we say h2 count equal to, and then use your interpolation, and count is count, and again on the template also you need to call it as a function. So let's go here and say count, and then calling it as a function. And here you see that count equal to 99. So what we have done, we have created a signal by calling the function signal, passing 99, and then we are able to read that here on the template again. Let's go ahead and create one more kind of signal. So let's say that I have in my application a type called book.ts, and here say export interface iBook. It has ID string, and it has title string, and it has price number. So we are creating a type here, and the purpose of this is to show you that you can create a signal out of custom types as well. So here I have done this iBook. Then go to appbook.cs, and here we can say book of type writable signal. And I'm coming to what is writable signal in a bit, and this is going to be of type iBook equal to signal, and in this now you can pass an object of type iBook. So here we can say, okay, ID is 1, let's say title is pen, and then we can pass price, and price is 200. So here you have created a signal around a custom type iBook. and very much you can use that right here on the HTML. So you can say that book price is equal to book dot book, and then you need to call it as a function dot price. All right, so here you are printing that book price. So let's go there. Here book price is printed. So you can create a signal around primitive values, around custom types, object, array, everything. Just keep in mind that signal is a function that returns you a writable signal. So in Angular, signals are of two types. One is writable signal and one is read-only signal. When you create a signal using signal function, that signal is a writable function, means it has 3 extra methods to write or update or mutate that signal. So you have methods such that set, you have methods such that mutate, and you have method update. Those methods you can apply on this count, you can apply on this book to either reset value of that count signal, either update value of that count or book signal, or mutate that signal value. We would come to set, update, and mutate in a bit. So here you see that you have created a signal count and then the writable signal, and this is the way you create a signal. It's as simple as that. Once you have created that signal, you have another concept called computed signal. So computed signal is created, is referred out of an existing signal. So here let's say that I go and say is even. So here I am creating something called is even equal to computed. So computed is another function like signal. And if you go to this definition of computed, you see that computed returns you a type signal. If you recall, signal returns you a type writable signal. However, computed returns you a type signal. And once again, if you go to writable signal definition, it returns you writable signal, and that extends signal. So this writable signal extend existing signal and adds these extra methods set, update, mutate, and as read only. So writable signal you can write to that signal. These are read only, you cannot write to that. So here computed returns a read only signal. However, signal function returns you a writable signal. I hope that's clear to you. All right, once again, computed returns you read only signal, means you can only read that, you cannot set that, you cannot update that, you cannot mutate that. However, when you create a signal using signal function, you can perform all these operations. Now computed always gets computed from an existing signal. So here I say that, hey, let me create a computed signal called is even, and I'm going to say that type of that is signal, and let's say boolean. So I'm creating a computed signal and I'm expecting that it is going to return me boolean. So here I'm saying computed, and then I will take this here, and here I say that, hey, if this dot count, I'm reading that count value. So this is even depends on count signal, and then saying %2. If that's true, then return me true, else return me false. So here I have created a computed signal that returns on this count signal, and on certain business logic it returns me the true or false. Now I can use this here on HTML. I can say that count is even. So again you read that as a function, and then I say even or odd. Okay, so here I am reading a signal, here I am reading a computed signal, and then I'm saying that whether that's an even or odd value. And let's go ahead and add a button. In the button we are going to say update count, and then on the click we call a function update count. Okay, so here in the update count, let's go here and create that function update count here. So in this update count function, now we are going to update that count value, as I told you, that count value, that count is a signal, writable signal, means it has three methods. If you are working with objects or arrays, you can use mutate, which mutates that object and that array, and always sends notification to all the subscribed consumers. But what set does, it reset the value. What update does, it updates value from the previous value. Please be informed that update is actually a sugar syntax on top of the set. Update also internally calls set itself. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say that, hey, this dot count dot update, and let's say m is m plus 1. So here we are updating that count value, and let's go. And in the output, you can see that 100 is even, 101 is odd, and so on. All right, so here you have created a signal, two signals in fact, count and book. Count with the type number, book or the type iBook. Then you have created a computed signal. Computed signal is based on an existing signal. Now keep in mind, there are few things about computed signal, that they are lazy in nature. Computed signal is lazy in nature. What does it mean is, let's go ahead and say console dot, let's say that here I'm saying that, hey, console.log, and I'm just printing a here, and then I'm printing a here as well. Okay, so computed are lazy in nature, and just to show that, what I have done, I'm printing a here, and let's go to HTML and remove this portion as of now. So what you have done, you have created a computed signal, but you are not reading it yet. And since you are not doing it here, you see that you don't get here a printed, because unless you do not read computed, unless computed is not being read, it is not getting evaluated. But as soon as I go here and to, let's say that app component.ts, and in update count itself, I try to read that, let's see that what happens. This dot is even. So I'm reading that computed signal here in line number 45. You see that you don't get a printed. When we click on update count, then only that computed got evaluated. So this is lazy in nature that you got to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and put it back here. So you created a signal, you created a computed signal, you learned that computed are lazy in nature. So signal is concept number 1, computed signal is concept number 2, and the third concept is called effect. Computer signal does not have any side effect. They are glitch free, and we can go further in deep about those concepts in further videos. In this video, I'm just trying to be very basic and just try to bring these concepts to you, that what is signal, what is computed signal, and what is effect. As you know that signal is a function which creates a wrapper around primitive values or custom types or objects or array kind of values. Then you learned about computed. Computed is lazy in nature, and computed does not have any set, update, and mutate method. So for example, here you go and say that, hey, this dot is even dot, you do not have set or update or mutate. So you cannot perform write operation to a computed signal. And that reminds me that you cannot perform write operation inside computed signal as well. So you cannot write a computed signal, as well as you cannot write inside a computed signal. So here I have created a computed, and let's say that I try to do this dot book dot set equal to, let's say, 88. So here what I'm doing, I'm trying to this dot count dot set 88. Here I'm trying to write into a signal inside a computed signal, and if I do so, Angular complains about that hey, writing to signal is not allowed in a computed or an effect by default. So if you are writing to a signal in a computed signal, it gives you error. If you are writing to a signal in an effect, it gives you an error. But in effect, you can reconfigure that. You can explicitly set a flag which says that, okay, I know what I'm doing and I'm writing into a signal inside a effect. You have that option available. However, you do not have that option available in computer. In computer, you cannot write into a signal, and also you cannot write to a computed. So I hope that's clear. And at this point of time, take your like 30 seconds, just go around the things, whatever I have done, and then I'll show you one example of signals and computer signals. All right. So what I'm going to do, we all know a very popular that how to share data between two unrelated components. And for that, what you do, you create a service. Inside service, you create a behavior subject or observable type. So here you are learning how to share data between two unrelated components using signals. So for that, what I have done, let's say that I have one counter. And in this counter, I am saying that, okay, this counter is, let's say, it has an object called 89. It is an object and it has a property count 89. Now you have two functions, set count. What set count does is, and then here you have a equal to, let's say, 100, and then we say this count equal to a. This dot a. All right, so here in set count, what you do, you say that, hey, this dot a equal to this dot a plus 1. All right, and then you go ahead and again say this dot counter dot count equal to this dot a. Then you have another function, get count, and in this function you say return this dot counter dot count. So what you have done here, you have created this a very simple service that has a counter and then set count and get count. Now you want to use that, so let's go to child component. In child component, here I'm saying that, all right, so inject that book service for me, book service inject. Now you have a new inject function that you can use to inject. You can use constructor injection as well. So here I'm saying that inject that book service, and I'm going to implement on init, and here I'll say ng on init, and then let's say count equal to this dot book service dot get count, and then we can and here we can display that count value in child 1. So we'll say h3 child 1 count equal to count. Pretty simple. Here you should get child 1 count equal to and let me just go ahead and remove this. All right, so here you can see that child 1 count is okay. I need to use that component as well, so I'll use that child 1 component, but before that, let's go to child 2 component. The child 2 component again inject this book service. So we are injecting that book service, and here we have one function called set count, and in that function we say this dot book service dot set count. So we are setting that count here, and then here we have one button. In that button, child 2 set count, and on the click of this button we want to call that function. All right, so here we can say click and then set count. All right, and then in the service here, let's say that when we are setting the count, console.log this dot counter dot count, just print that. Okay, to use that, I'll go to app component.ts. Since this is standalone app, I need to import child 1 component, and then I need to import child 2 component. I imported them, and then go to app component.html. Here I'm going to use app child 1 and then app child 2. All right, so we are using these two. Now here we are back, and you see that here you see that you have child 1 count set to 100 and then child 2 set count of function. When you click on this child 2 set count button, it is setting the count in the service. However, your child 1 is not getting updated. This is the classical problem. that you are trying to share data between two unrelated component and it is not getting updated. So how you go about that? One, I'm very sure you know that you go and convert this to behavior subject and you do everything that. But let's see that how we can achieve that through signal. So what I'm going to do, I take this counter and I'll make this counter as a signal. So I wrapped it inside a signal. So I wrapped this counter inside signal, and then in the set count, what I'm going to do is instead of this dot counter dot count, I would say this dot counter dot set, and let's say that here we are setting that count as this dot a. Okay, so we are setting that count and let's comment that, and you don't need this get count function, just comment that. So here what we are doing, we are setting, we can update that as well. We are setting that counter value with a new value of a, and we have wrapped it inside signal. Then I'll go to child one. Here we are making the call, so that's nothing to be done. Here instead of this dot count, right here we comment that, we go to HTML directly, and here we will say that book service dot counter, and then that has a function count. So just calling the signal as a function and printing that count value. Now we are back here, child one component 100. As you set, you see that you are able to pass data. Now you may see that how easy it is using signal to even maintain state across independent unrelated components. You don't have to go around or subscribe and all those things. This is very simple example. Of course, there could be many use cases where we need to go deeper. We need to think that how we can implement it. But I hope you got the message. So this is how you share data between two unrelated components using signal. So far you have learned to create a signal, you have learned to create a computed signal, you learned that what is lazy, computed signal is lazy, you learned that you cannot read to a computed signal, you learned that you cannot write inside a computed signal. Then you share data between two unrelated components using signals. The third concept is effects. So whenever you create a signal, you can read that signal value inside an effect. Angular does not know that when you are going to read that, when effect gets run, but yeah, effect gets executed whenever change detection gets executed or executed. So here let's go ahead and create an effect. Now you can create an effect only inside injection context. Now what is injection context? For example, constructor is an injection context. For example, you can create injection context by passing the injector. So constructor is an injector context. Let's go ahead and create an effect here. That's the simplest one. So here we can say effect, and in this effect, console.log this dot count. So here you have created an effect and reading that value. Keep in mind that effect, Angular makes sure that effect runs minimal number of times, but it is guaranteed that it runs at least once. So as soon as we go here, you say that line number 41 is executed with 99, and whenever I execute that value, effect is getting executed. So whenever count value changes, effect is getting notification, and you should have the code like making an API call and logging etc. inside an effect. In further videos, I'll go very deep into effect. I'll go very deep into computed signals and the equality functions and all those things. But purpose of this video is to show you that how you can get started with Angular. So go ahead and explore Angular. Please in the comment let me know what topics you want to learn from me. And I hope you find this video useful. Feel free to DM me if you have any question around it. Thank you so much.